Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Fresh Look Friday. Today I'm going to be discussing some YA fiction, all romance. So the thing is, some of these aren't pure romance. I have a lot of different genres, but the commonality is that there is a romance plot throughout the story. So some of them are the typical fluffy romance or romantic comedy, and some of them are not. And we're going to start with this one. This is your typical one. This is called Kate in Waiting by Becky Albertalli. She is who wrote Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda. So if you liked that or the Netflix adaptation, you'll definitely like Kate in Waiting. So this is about Kate and her best friend, Andy. So Kate and Andy are theater kids. They love theater. They go to theater camp and everything, but they're best friends. They go to the same high school, and they both have the same long-distance crush that they've met at camp named Matt. Well, when school starts in the fall, Matt shows up. He's going to attend their school. And it was all fine and dandy when they were crushing on the same guy, when he was unattainable, but now he's there. Kate is finding that she really, really likes Matt, and Andy is finding that he also really, really likes Matt. So things get complicated, to say the least. Definitely a fluffy romance read if you're looking for something to just escape into. Kate in Waiting. And the audiobook was very good as well. Then we have Love and Other Natural Disasters. This is for sure a Jenny Han read-alike. So if you like any of the Jenny Han books or the Netflix adaptations, definitely check out Love and Other Natural Disasters. So our main character is Nozomi. And this is more, you've heard of love triangles, right? This is like a love square with all four of these characters. Nozomi is in San Francisco for the summer, living with her uncles, and she is interning at an art museum. She's very excited, and she meets Willow, and she falls head over heels for Willow. She's beautiful and perfect in every single way. The problem is that Willow just broke up with her ex, Arden, and she is still head over heels for Arden. So Nozomi and Willow decide to start fake dating to make Arden jealous. But Nozomi's plan is that Willow will end up falling in love with her anyway through this fake dating. So this is all very complicated, and then Arden starts dating Della, who's also interning at the museum, and things get even more complicated from there. It's very funny. There's a lot of Japanese culture throughout this story. It's very inclusive. I really, really loved Love and Other Natural Disasters. Then we have a pho love story. This was just like the traditional love story for me. And it also has food, which is the perfect book. When you incorporate food, I'm all about it. So we have Bao and Lin. They are from two different families. They grew up knowing each other, but they're not really friends at all. And their families own rival restaurants. And they're constantly competing with each other. But through a series of circumstances, these two are thrown together, and they start maybe developing feelings for one another, but they know that their families hate each other. So what are they going to do? If you like food, if you like love stories and traditional romantic tropes, definitely check out A Pho Love Story. I really loved it. It's my go-to recommendation for anyone that's looking for a romance read. Then we're going to switch gears a little bit and go with a not traditional route. So this next one is called All That's Left in the World. And I couldn't get the book. I actually listened to it on Overdrive or Libby. You can check out the ebook or the audiobook on Libby. Our main characters are Andrew and Jamie. So this book takes place after a massive flu has destroyed most of the population. And it's just like a survivalist story. So if you like dystopian survival stories, this is for you. I could not put this book down. I just needed to be listening to it at any moment in my life. I shut down my life for this book. It was that good. So the story starts with Andy, who has been walking alone through the woods, and he steps in a bear trap. And he's able to get it off of his leg, but now he's like severely injured and like inches from death. And he comes across this cabin. And who is in this cabin but Jamie? And Jamie is also alone. They are very hesitant because, you know, when everyone dies and there's only a few people left in the world, you don't know who's good and who's bad, and you don't know who to trust. Well, luckily they end up trusting each other. Andrew comes into the cabin, Jamie nurses him back to health, and then they have to leave the cabin. Their lives are threatened, and they're off on an adventure, trekking across the country with very little resources, and they don't know who to trust. It's a really, really excellent survival story. And throughout all of that, they find themselves maybe, just maybe, falling in love. Andrew knows that he's gay, Jamie not so much. And so that's a really interesting dynamic along with the survival. I highly, highly recommend All That's Left in the World. It's probably my favorite out of all of them that I'm discussing today. Then we have Anatomy, a Love Story. So this was one of Reese's YA book picks. It's a historical fiction. It's a romance for sure, but it's definitely a thriller, a mystery with maybe a touch of fantasy thrown in. So our main character is Hazel. This takes place in the 1800s, and she really, really wants to be a doctor. And as you know, in the past, women were very discouraged from doing most everything, especially becoming a doctor. That is men's work. That is not for women. But she is determined. She ends up dressing up in her brother's clothes, going to these seminars, attending this class to try and learn as much as she can to be a physician. She ends up getting caught and kicked out of the class, but she makes a deal with the teacher, Dr. Beecham, that if she can pass the tests at the end of the course, he will allow other women to join the school and become physicians. Now, the problem is she can't attend the class, so she has to learn on her own. And she can't really learn with just books. She needs cadavers. She needs bodies to learn about anatomy. Enter Jack. Jack is a poor kid on his own, living, trying to make ends meet, and he becomes a resurrection man. Different than a grave robber. Don't get them confused. He digs up bodies. He takes everything off the body, leaves it back in the grave so he's not robbing, and he sells these bodies to the medical school so that they can learn through actual physical specimens. Well, Hazel approaches Jack and asks if she can buy bodies from him. So the two of them start working together. And as they work together, they start developing feelings for each other. While all of this is going on, they figure out that Dr. Beecham is maybe up to no good. He is stealing, kidnapping people and stealing body parts. And all these patients that have lost body parts or like wake up with scars and don't know what happened are coming to Hazel for help. So Hazel and Jack start investigating Dr. Beecham to figure out what exactly is going on. Like I said, lots of twists and turns. There's lots of different genres going on, and there's a sequel coming out later this year, Anatomy, a Love Story. And my last one today is called 3 Kisses, 1 Midnight. This is 3 short stories written by 3 different authors, but there's the main characters are woven through all of them. It's about it takes place on Halloween, so very timely, and they're all very romantic stories, all about the 3 main characters finding the person that they love. We have 3 friends. They call themselves the Coven, and each story is about one of these friends. They are Ani, Ash, and True. Ani is a believer in all things mystical and magical. She is hardcore into it, and she has made a love potion for herself and her 2 friends to pass on this Halloween night to try and snag their crushes, the people that they love. Ash, he's the artist of the group. He's making masks for everyone to attend this Halloween party, and in the process, he finds his next door neighbor, the girl next door that he's been pining after, and that's what their story is about. And then we have True. She's the third one, and she is the realist. She does not believe in any of this junk, yet magic happens for her too. Like I said, the 3 stories all take place on the same night. They are woven together. Each character shows up in all of the stories. The principal and their teacher are married, or no, the mayor and their teacher are married in this story, and they are huge characters in all 3. I love them so much. And I want there to be a book based on that love story. So the character development in this is stellar. Even the side characters trap you. You love them. You can't put this book down. 3 Kisses, 1 Midnight, a very spooky romantical read. And that's what I have for you today. Come back next time and I'll have even more. Bye.